quickly confirm that I am audible? Am I audible, everyone, properly? Just confirm that there is no disturbance or there is no
Ye-
any kind of background noise.
Yeah, it's audible clearly.
Okay, great. So let me share my desktop. Okay. Uh, just a couple of rules, everyone. See, we have a lot of participants today. So just make sure that all of you keep yourself in mute state unless it is very much needed. So what you can do is you are always welcome to put your queries. You can use the chat window to communicate your queries all the time. I'll try my level best to answer your queries. I will try to answer like as many queries I can. I won't promise that I'll be able to answer every query, but I'll try my level best. Okay, we have like around 1.5 hours, and I really believe that you all will enjoy this 1.5 hour of journey. Okay, so let me quickly share my desktop. I have not shared anything, don't worry. So Parvez, so let me share my desktop. So can quickly someone confirm that my screen is visible? Can you see the shared screen, everyone? I just want a couple
Yes,
of yes.
yes.
Great, 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 great. Okay, sounds good. Okay, as I said, like very quickly, what you can do is you can always use the chat window to communicate. Okay, and I'll keep looking at the questions raised, and I'll try my level best to answer every now and then. So very quickly, let me introduce myself and the Mumbai User Group. Mumbai User Group, I believe like most of you already know, because like I can see a lot of known names here. You must have um, came to this training maybe by Facebook or maybe by a Twitter handler or something like that. But anyways, like very quickly, like Mumbai User Group is a user group. We like this group was formed in Mumbai. That's why we call it as Mumbai User Group, but it is like open to everyone. It's a community group. It's not a training institute or any kind of things. The core purpose of this group is just knowledge sharing. We try our level best to do some good things to the society, and that we expect the same thing from you all as well. You, each one of you are knowledgeable in some areas, so definitely you should come forward and share your skill with the industry, with other people, so that they can get the benefit. That's the only social work we can do as a techie people. So like that's what I'm trying to do today. Today I'll be sharing like I've been working with Angular like from the very beginning. Like you can say like the first time I did Angular was like when Angular was introduced. Okay, like it was beta version. So at that time I wrote my very first Angular code. Even like when it was in beta, I did my first Angular training. So I still remember that day actually. Like a lot of things were not working, and like all these years I had developed a lot of Angular projects. I have done like I don't know like how many, like lot of Angular trainings I have done, and I have realized I have learned certain things through this time period. And in this session I will try my level best to share that experience with all of you. Okay, as per my name is concerned, my name is Sukesh Marla, and I have total like 12 years of experience in the IT industry. I started my career as an ASP.NET developer, and like after that, I got an opportunity to work on a lot of technologies, and Angular is definitely one of them. As of now, I am a director of a company called Just Compile. We are a development-based company, and like we develop applications in .NET Core, Angular, and a lot of other technologies. So that's it about myself. Let's quickly start with the session. So this is the official Mumbai User Group. What you can do is you can always go and subscribe here, and you can keep yourself updated with the upcoming events. So what I will do, first of all, let's try to understand like what exactly is RxJS. So can anyone like just tell me like what is RxJS? Do you know? I'm not expecting a perfect answer from anyone. If you know something, just share it. If you don't know something, then absolutely fine, no issue. And if you believe it is something, but you are not sure, then also feel free to put that answer. It's a library. Oh, it's a perfect answer. See, it's a library, it's a framework, like anything else. Like what is the purpose of this library? RxJS is definitely a library. Someone said it, very good. But what is the purpose of it? Third party library, any other answer? Like, okay, way to transform data. Let's see what other answers we get. Anything else, anyone? See, as I said, like I'm not expecting something extraordinarily perfect answer. Reactive framework, okay, library to perform asynchronous operations. Very good. Go ahead, keep on going. See, as I said, like what you can do, you can always, let's say, like you want to learn RxJS, or you want to learn like any technology. So what you can do, simply go to YouTube, search that technology, and you get like thousands of videos, right? So what is the specialty of this training compared to those videos? Interaction. When it comes to live training, live sessions, what you can do is you can interact, right? So take the best benefit. So try to interact, try to ask questions, try to answer as well. Okay, I got a couple of good answers as well. Some more good answers like data mapping, etc., etc. Okay, good. I'm happy that people are participating. That means everybody want to learn here. Okay, let me make it very easy for you. Before the RxJS, let me talk about a terminology called as reactive programming. Is there anyone who heard about this word reactive programming before? If yes, maybe in which technology, or maybe like what was the purpose of it? Just relax, everyone. Just try to answer. Handling service response using RxJS. Oh my God. See, when I say RxJS, you say reactive programming. When you say reactive programming, you say RxJS. Okay. So what exactly is reactive programming? I believe like you are not able to see the chat window. So sometimes I look into that and I try to answer what is written over there. Okay. See, now reactive programming is a kind of a programming methodology. Okay. It's a kind of a approach, kind of a way we write code. Okay. So now let me explain you with the help of a small code. Okay, what I'll do is I'll just like create. Let me do one thing. There is an RxJS folder over here in the Merg folder. Let me open Visual Studio Code here, and now just try to understand. Okay, I'll explain you what exactly reactive programming is with the help of a code. Okay, let's not get into too much of theory. I know, like if you do a lot of theory, like all of us, like it's already weekend, so everybody will sleep. So let me create a simple file over here. I will say index.html. It's a simple HTML file. And then I will say simply like, what should I write? Okay, Visual Studio Code is very smart. So I have a very simple HTML page over here. Now don't ask me what shortcut I used to create this page in one click. You can Google for that. That's an assignment. So here what I will do is now I will go and create a script tag. Okay, a simple script tag. And let me say /script, right? A simple script tag. And let's say over here, I have a span tag, or let me make it input whatever you want. That's fine. Input type equal to text. And then I will say, let me say like value equal to maybe empty for now. And let me have an ID as well. ID equal to my text box. Okay. Now inside this script tag, what I will do is I'll say window.onload. Okay, a simple JavaScript thing. And I believe like everybody know what I have done so far, right? It's a very simple code. I believe like everybody understand this much. This session is all about Angular actually. So I'm expecting people to know what I have written, because it is even the basic thing. So everybody clear, right? Whatever I've done. So here what I will do, let's assume that there is a function somewhere here, like maybe get text or something like that. Okay. So let's say function get text like this. Okay, something like this I have. And this is going to return our favorite string. What is it? Hello world. So every program, every learning should start with hello world, right? So that's what I'm doing here. I have a simple function called get text, and it is returning hello world over here. And here what I will do is I'll simply say document dot get element by ID. And then I will say my text box dot value equal to, let me say, get text, a very simple code. I don't think any explanation is needed to understand what this code is, right? Everybody understand this code, right? Yes or no, everyone? And you know what kind of output I'm going to get, right? See, what I'll do is I'll simply say light server. Now light server is simply a node module which I have already installed in my machine. Let's not get into that in detail. What it will do is it will simply start a small web server which I can use for the development purpose. Okay, every web application you have to host it somewhere, right, in order to execute it. So I just have the light server with it. So let's not get into that. You can Google for that. It's a simple command. I will press enter and it will start a web server like in the 3000 port. And here you can see I'm getting the output of the index.html, right? It's a very simple example, right? Now the thing is, just try to answer me. Let's say because of some reason, maybe let's say there is a button. Okay, let's say there is a input type equal to button. Okay, and let's say the data which is coming from this get text function is got changed. Are you getting my point? So let's say like I have a variable called as let text equal to, let's say hello world. This is what we have. Okay, and what happened? Sorry. So let me return this text here. Okay, now let's say like there is a function. When I click this button, okay, I'll say value equal to update me. It's a simple function. And then I have, oh sorry, on click is equal to, I will say update. It's a simple JavaScript function which I will simply put it over here. Okay, I have to put the function keyword. Okay, and then over here maybe I will say text equal to Corona world. Right? So now tell me, if I go and click this button, okay, what happened? I simply said like value equal to update me. Okay, let me put like this. Okay, so now if I click this update me button, is this value in the text box going to change? Absolutely no, right? Everybody can say that. Everybody agree to that point? If I click this button, this value in the text box is not going to change, right? So my point is, what's happening here, you know, like you have a data and you are using that data at some place. Now, when that data get changed, your application which was using that data will not do anything unless you explicitly ask it to do it. So again, I have to say like, okay, you are done with it. So make sure that this function is again got invoked here. In the project, you have a grid. You have a grid, a dynamic table, and then you have a data entry screen. In the grid, you load some records, maybe from the database. Then you in the data entry screen, you put the values, you click the save button. When you click the save button, you save that data into the database. But what after that? You have to make sure that you rebind the grid. If you don't do that, your grid is not going to display the new record, right? It is still going to stuck with that old records. Everybody is clear so far what my point is. Now the reactive program is the program which can react. I make it very simple. Okay, let's not get into that very difficult terminologies. I'll make reactive programming means program which can react. React, English word react, not the React JS. Program which can react. Whenever something gets changed, it will tell you. So what advantage we will get because of reactive programming? Our life becomes very simple. Just try to understand everyone, okay? Let's say I have a big application, okay, big UI, especially nowadays, single page application where there is one page where entire application is displayed. Okay, so we have one big UI where a lot of things are happening. We have something over here, we have something over here, we have something in the bottom corner, we have something in the top right corner, etc. Now there is a small button in the, let's say, top right corner, and when I click that button, a data will get changed, and that data we are right now displaying in the bottom left corner of that UI. Are you following everyone what I'm saying here? I'm saying that in the UI, in the current UI, we are displaying some data, and in some other part of the UI there are some action happening, maybe some asynchronous operation like Ajax call, maybe an button click, something like that. And when that happens, the value of that data get changed. That data get changed actually. So my question is, when that data gets changed, is my UI going to change? No, we have to explicitly do that, right? So my point is, every time we change the data, we have to explicitly say, hey, change the UI, change the UI, change the UI. So instead of that, the one part, listen everyone, instead of that, if somehow we achieve what I say next, don't you think our life becomes easier? Just listen to what I'm saying. I'll say the one part of the UI which need data, the one part of the UI which need data, in the current case, this part, this text box, will subscribe for the data. There is a very important word, subscribe. And whenever the data get changed, that data get displayed in the UI. For an instance, if you look at the real world, there are so many blogs around in the internet, right? You simply go and subscribe there. Now, as soon as a new blog is added in that particular website, you get the notification. Yes or no? That's what I'm saying. The another approach is, you every time you want to read something, you go and visit the website, you see if new blog post is added. If yes, read it. If no, come back. Are you able to understand everyone what I'm saying? So reactive approach means, reactive programming means this portion. Can you just mute yourself, everyone, please? Just make sure that everybody is in mute, okay? So in the reactive programming, one second, let me mute. Okay, so in the reactive programming, what we will do, in the reactive programming, I'll say this portion of the UI which need this data will subscribe for this change. Okay, so you understood this code. Now let me put the let me do it in the reactive programming way, and then let's discuss further. So what I will do, first I need a library using which I can do reactive programming. Once again, see, I'm not expecting all of you to understand what reactive programming is actually as of now. Okay, if you got even a little bit like 5%, it is more than enough. Once we do the practical, you will get the complete idea. So for now, just try to get a little bit idea about that. Okay, so like program will react and all those things, it is enough. Okay, now the second point is, if you want to do reactive programming, you need to write some code, right? Now in the world of JavaScript, you can write reactive programming. You can create your code in a reactive way using a library called RxJS. So let me install that. How will I do that? I'll stop my temporary server, which I had used for intermediately like testing my output. So here what I will do, I will say npm install RxJS. Okay, as I said, this session is for Angular developers, so I'm expecting people to know this npm and all those things. Okay, so done. Next, what I will do, I will go and include a script tag, one more script tag technically, and here I will say src equal to /node modules /rxjs there is bundles and / you can say minified version of it. This is a library. Now how come I know like this is I supposed to include that? I know it. Okay, experience, learning. Okay, so after you include this library, you will be able to write a reactive code in the JavaScript world also. So let me do that for you now. So now what I will do, I will say this is one code which is going to need that data, and this is the another code which is going to have the data. So here what I will do, I will say the first thing which I'm going to do is I will say maybe subject equal to new RxJS dot subject. Getting my point? New RxJS dot subject. Okay, and then I will say simply RxJS subject. It's one thing is done. RxJS subject. Okay, everyone. And then here what I will do, I will say this subject dot subscribe. And then I will say Control X, Control P here. Okay, and then I will display this X. So what I did, forget about this code. Okay, just look it in this way. Now I have a subject which can change over the time, and then I am subscribing for it. So now every time, for example, in the beginning, I will say subject dot, maybe like I will create that update function. Okay, let me put it in this way. Control K, Control C. In the update function, see what I do. I will say subject dot next. Okay, subject dot next. And here I will say A, B, C, D. I know code becomes a little complicated, right? Like it was so easy before. I had a variable, I accessed that variable, got the value of that variable and displayed it in the text box. That was very easy. But now, like I have to create a subject, and like I have to say subject dot next. This ABCD will be available in this X variable, and like this function will get executed. Let's see like why we are doing so many complicated things, but just for now, just relax. So first of all, let me start my light server once again. So it's done. Now click the update me button. Nothing happened. So let me check the developer tools and let's understand what exactly happened. We are expecting to have a console button. Get text is not a function. So I think I removed it, right? Oh, sorry, X. My mistake. X. Control S. Update me. So it's done. Let me remove this developer tools. Can you see? I'll repeat once again. See. Now in the beginning it is empty. What happened? Why it got stuck? It got stuck. Oh, it got stuck here. Okay. See now in the beginning it is empty, right? I'll click the update me button. See, I got ABCD. Now, what just happened? Like, just try to understand everyone. Okay. See, when I click this button, okay, actually this code, I'm subscribing it here in the line number 24. I'm subscribing for this subject. Okay, in the line number 24, I have subscribed to this subject. Okay, and in the line number 25, like I'm displaying the value over here. So let me do the debugging and show you what is happening step by step. So let me say debugger semicolon here, and let me come here and let me open the developer tools and let's say refresh. So you will see that, see, I'll put the breakpoint over here. Let me put the breakpoint over here, and let me put the breakpoint over here, and let me put the breakpoint over here. So as you can see, first, see the window.onload got fired. Here I'm subscribing for the change. Subscriber.subscribe. Done. That's it, done. This line never got executed. Now when I click the update me button, see this got executed. Here I am like saying the new data is available. Now as soon as the new data is available, this subscribe will get called, and here I'm displaying the X value inside this. So this is like there is a website. That website is subject. Pay attention. The subject is a website to which I have subscribed. Whenever a new blog post got added, whenever a new blog is posted in that website, because of my subscription, I get the notification, and in that X, I got that post and I'm displaying it in my text box. Now this is reactive programming. The program will react. Now you may be wondering like, what is so special about it? See what I will do, to make it fun. Okay. So like maybe I'll put it in this way, subject.next. Maybe I will say math.random. Okay, maybe a math function and multiplied by 10. So every time I click the button, so I'm going to get a different value. So let me see. Can you see like every time I'm clicking the button, I'm getting a different value, right? Now what I will do, okay, this part is already there. Okay, now couple of months or a couple of years passed, a new developer joins our company, and he, because of his requirement, he will simply go and create one more control. Maybe like update me again, something like this. Okay, again, and he will call the again function. Okay. So yes, exactly. Observer pattern. Very good. Someone said observer pattern. Yes, exactly. So I will say function again. Okay. And here what he will do, you know, he will say subject.next mat.random 10 again. Now he don't care like where that thing is actually got subscribed. Maybe like we will be having another text box. Okay. My text box too. And also in some part of my other UI, I have subscribed to the subject again, which is also using the same value. Are you getting my point, everyone? Like right now, it is very hypothetical, a very small example. The point is people, multiple places in our application will subscribe. I have one subscription over here. I have one subscription over here. Multiple places in my UI is changing the values. Now, when I click this button, both of them get the subscription and values in both the text boxes will get updated. When I click this button, same thing is going to happen. Just see here. Now let me make it a little smaller. So when I click update me, see, can you see like update me again. So this is reactive programming. Are you getting my point, everyone? Are you able to understand? Clear? If you can I do it without reactive programming? Absolutely. See, my question is very simple. I don't care if you understood reactive programming or no. If you are able to do one thing, my point is I want you to create such kind of application where there is a text box. When I click the text box, maybe some code is going to execute, maybe an asynchronous code which will get data from the database, and that data I want to display it in the inside this text box. And maybe some other text button is there which is also going to do the same thing. I want to create similar kind of output, similar kind of application from you. So what you will do? Can you do it without reactive programming or RxJS? Absolutely, you can do it. Yes, you can do it. But for that, you have to do a lot of code, or you have to make your life a little difficult. What you will do, every time you change it, it becomes your responsibility to update everyone else. See, there are two approaches. Just try to understand that approach. In the approach number 1, I will change and it's my responsibility to change everyone else. In the approach number 1, as soon as I get the new data, as soon as I, the one who is going to get the new data, as soon as I get the new data, it's my responsibility that everyone else who is dependent on my data update their data. And in second approach, in the reactive program approach, I'll just publish it that I changed it. Now, whoever subscribed me, they will get the changes. Are you getting my point, everyone? Is that clear? Yes. By saying subject dot, someone is saying like Vinod is saying subject dot broadcasting and all, right? Absolutely. When I say this subject dot next, what it will do, you know, it broadcast this value to all the subscribers. Are you getting my point? Everyone clear? So I subscribe it here. I subscribe it here. Now see, now it looks a little like weird for you because everything is written in one place. Like you may be wondering like, why will I do it? It is so easy if I do it manually. Absolutely, yes. That's why you never thought about using this kind of libraries before in your career. Because so far, whatever applications you have created, it was like more server centric. Okay, you are not creating single page applications so far much. Okay, if you are in the world of single page application, maybe like React.js, Angular, whatever, at that time, what you do exactly? You create one page inside which you will be having your entire project. And what happens then? Like one portion of your UI change something and another portion of your UI get that change, need that change. Are you getting my point? One component need to coordinate with another component. So it becomes very complicated over the time. Yes, JD, this is publisher subscriber pattern. Absolutely. So the thing is how to achieve it like this. So everybody got the idea, like first of all, what exactly is reactive programming is? Everybody got the initial idea like what reactive programming is? The reactive programming, in the reactive programming, what happened, you know, like this place, it is not asking for the data. It simply subscribed for it. And one who changed it, he simply publish it. Clear? So as of now, like you will see that every code is written in one place, but in reality, maybe this code is written inside some library and this code is your application code. Getting my point? This code may be developer one's code. This code may be developer two's code. And this code may be written by some other developer three who have created a reusable library. Are you with me, everyone? Are you able to exactly understand, exactly relate like what we are doing? And that's why I said this session is for Angular developers. Okay, like you should know a little bit Angular. In Angular, what you do, you create components, lot of components, right? One component will do something. Okay, one component will do something, and when that one component do something, maybe that one component will save something into the database. Maybe that one component will make an API call and do something. When that component does that, another part of the component, some other component which is not a parent or child of that particular component, need to do something. So how will we do that? Think about it. Life becomes very simpler. You will get the real feeling of it once we start with the Angular. But before that, I want you to get a complete idea about what exactly is reactive programming all about. So everybody clear? Got it? Everybody clear? Give me just a couple of yes, and I'll move ahead. Excellent. Please free to ask questions. Don't worry about anything. Okay. If you have any question, any confusion, please free to ask. Okay. Awesome. So now everyone, you must have like felt one thing here, right? Like you must have felt like there is one small limitations. Like initially my text box is empty. Initially when I did manually, that text box was filled, right? Now it is empty. I don't want that. I want that initially my subject or initially my text box should have some value, right? So that you can do. But for that, you have to change the subject. You will say behavior subject. Okay, now what is behavior subject? Just like subject, you have behavior subject. See, I'm going to talk more about it. Okay, but I just want to give you a very quick demonstration before that. So 100. So now you will see that initially nothing is coming. Maybe I made a mistake. Maybe there is a spelling mistake. Can you see 100? Now click it. Same thing will happen. So the behavior subject also have the default value. So now in this reactive programming approach, there are a couple of things you have to understand. Okay, observable. Okay, there is something called as observable. There is something called as observer, and there is something called as subscriber. These three keywords plays very important. See, if you understand these basic fundamentals, whatever I'm doing, everyone, okay, learning RxJS becomes like a piece of cake for you, and learning all these things with Angular becomes very easy for you. Understand these basic fundamentals. Maybe many of you must have done some observable things in in the Angular world. If you do this, that becomes very easy. So just try to understand. Okay, so far what we have done, we understood like reactive programming. Okay, now I got an idea like what reactive programming is all about. And we understood like RxJS is a way to implement reactive programming in the JavaScript world. RxJS is a library for doing reactive programming in the JavaScript world. So now we are going to explore a couple of terminologies in reactive programming. See, I'm not talking about RxJS. I'm talking about reactive programming. I repeat, I'm talking about reactive programming. So in the reactive programming, we have three terminologies: observable, observer, and subscriber. So to understand this very well, I'll give you an example. There is Twitter. Okay. And in the Twitter, I have my account and I have a couple of subscribers, right? Now, as soon as I tweet something, all my subscribers get the notification. So easy example, right? So in that situation, subscriber, you already know, all of you are subscribers. It is very easy. I am the observable. That's Sukesh Marla. He was the observable. You are observing me. When you went to my account and when you clicked that follow button, I was the observable. So you start observing me. Who is the observer here? Observer is the one because of which you got the notification. Twitter system in the background. It is the one which is responsible for. But for example, when I go and put some data, add a new tweet, when I click submit button, Twitter does something, and because of that you get the notification, right? And that Twitter is the observer. This is the basic terminology. Got it? Observable is the one who is observed. Observer is the one because of which subscriber get notification when observable is fed with the new data. Following everyone? Yes, observable is a, I will not say like source of data. Observable, see, there are multiple places, multiple definitions you see. Observable is the one which emits data all the time. Which emits data. Observable is the one which we subscribe to get the data. Subscribers get the data. Are you getting my point? So in the RxJS world, okay, there is a function called rxjs.off. What you can do, using this function, like for example, now if I say rxjs.observable, or let's say, now you know what it is? It's an RxJS world observable. React, these three terminologies, whatever I said, these are reactive programming terminologies. Now in the RxJS world, there are some objects like observable. Okay, there is an object called as observable. There is an object called as subject. There is a subject called as behavior subject, etc., etc. Observable, you already know. I create an observable and then you can subscribe for it. What is subject? Now the interesting thing is this subject is both observable and subscriber. Okay, got it? Got my point? Observable and subscriber. This one, keep it aside. Purely look into this. Subject is both observable and subscriber. Subject is actually emitting the data and I'm subscribing for it. Are you able to understand what I'm saying, everyone? Subject is actually emitting the data and I'm subscribing for it. I simply, like I said, like subscribe and I got that data, right? Yes or no? Are you able to understand, everyone, what I'm saying? Now, there is a small problem here. And that small problem is this subject is both observable and observer. That's the problem. It is like I am in a movie theater where I can watch the movie, but I have the remote control of that entire movie theater. So if I want, I can go and change the movie. If I change the movie, everybody has to see that movie which I like just published. Yes or no? My point is this subject, which is going to be subscribed by everyone else, also has the next method available to everyone else. So if anyone want, they can simply say subject.next, right? If anyone want, they can simply say subject.next, and what happens? Everybody will get that notification. It's not correct. Are you able to understand what I'm saying, everyone? So what we will do, we will say this subject, which actually is both observable and observer, we will not make that subject available to everyone else. We will say we will only make the observable of that subject available outside. So whatever, so I said, right, like subject is both observable and observer. So this observer is that observable now. So I will say to the external world, this subject will not be available. This observer will be available. So I can say subscribe, fine, but I cannot say observable.next. Are you able to understand? Same thing will happen, no different. But now I cannot say this observable.next is not going to work. If you go and check the developer tools, it will give you an error which says that observable.next is not a function. If you are not understood it, very simple, everyone. I'll make it super simple for you. You already know the fundamental concept of the setter getter functions, right? That's not a perfect example here, but just to give you, if you haven't understood anything, then in that case, you know the basic concept of setter getter function, right? I just made it protected. That's it. Now that entire thing is not available to outside one. So now outside people cannot say next. In the beginning only I said, let's assume that this code is done by one developer, this code is done by second developer, and this code is done by third developer. You got it, everyone? Is that clear? This is reactive programming, and this is very quick idea about RxJS. Then we will go to the Angular world. Clear? This RxJS and all this kind of a terminology comes to picture when we have a lot of JavaScript. In the current application, in the existing application, like in the, I will say like the traditional web application, which is there in the market from very long years, I don't think like putting RxJS and all those things may make our life easy. In fact, like if we do that, our life becomes more difficult. Okay. So for existing application, it is not meant. You can do it, but the thing is like, I will not do it. It will make my life difficult. Because it's a thinking, it's a pattern, kind of a thinking we do. So everyone clear? What is the difference between subject and observable? Got it, right? So don't get confused, okay? In the RxJS world, there is an object called as RxJS, okay? Now see, because you are in JavaScript, you don't see that object or any word over here. Once we get into Angular, you will see that actually. Subject, oh, there's a question. To that level, subject should be available to that level only where you are setting the source data, and others should be, yes, exactly. See, the question is like, if you want, you write a library. Try to understand everyone, okay? You create a library which is going to be used by multiple people, maybe. Okay, now inside that library, you have a subject. Now those multiple people, multiple components or multiple portions of your UI is going to be subscribed to that particular library. I repeat what I said. I said some developer will create a library, okay, and maybe section 1 in my UI will subscribe to this library. Section 2 in my library in my UI will subscribe to this library. Okay, let's say something like this is happening. And how library did it? By exposing its subject directly to section 1 and section 2. That is okay. It is going to work out. But the problem is, if in case directly if section 1 says subject.next, then section 2 is also going to get a notification, which is wrong. Correct? That emitting or like feeding data into the observable must be the part of library. Getting my point? So in that's why we should not expose that subject to the outside world. To the outside world, we should only expose the object, observable. My mistake. Observable. Got it? Observable is the one which we will subscribe. Observer is the one which will feed data into the observable, which will add new data into the observable, and subscriber is the one who subscribes to the observable. And subject is both observable and subscriber. So what I did, I simply extracted the observable out of that subject and I made it available to the outside people, outside developers. Sounds good to everyone? Clear to everyone? If yes, then I'll have some water and I'll resume. So everybody's good so far? See, I can see a couple of people saying yes, no, something like that. Can I expect it from like, we are almost like 41 people. So can I see everyone saying yes, no, yes, no, yes, no? See, the core purpose of all these sessions is like, we enjoy doing these sessions, okay? So we enjoy when people are enjoying. So just try your best to enjoy the session. Okay, so this is like simple example, okay? And now let's get into the Angular. So now what I will do, I'm expecting people know Angular. So I already created a very simple quick example of Angular, which we will convert it to the reactive world. So where is it? We have it here. Now Angular by default, like need RxJS in the behind. Lot of existing Angular functionalities like input property and output property, all of them are already using RxJS in the behind. So if you think about, if you are from like, I'm considering you know the basic Angular, okay? So if you go and remove this RxJS and try to work with the Angular, it is not going to work, okay? RxJS is a prerequisite for Angular. Okay, but what happened, you know, when I do the consulting, when I do my like training and all, what I see, you know, people normally learn Angular, but they don't bother about RxJS. My point is, without RxJS, you can't even develop a proper Angular application. You can develop, but it will not be a proper quality code. Okay, so let me show this, show what kind of output this application is generating. So let me say cd my app, cd Angular. What is that? Cd, oh sorry, cd dot dot, cd dot dot, cd Angular, cd my app, CLS, and then I will say ng serve space minus minus open. Okay, uh, I'm expecting, is there anyone who is new to Angular here? Means who don't know what is going to happen now? I have not done anything special here. I like just said ng serve. So is there anyone who don't know anything about Angular here? At least say no. Okay, so I'm assuming that everybody knows Angular here. Okay, so it's a simple example. Very okay, Rajal. Maybe you will not understand everything, but just try to understand as much. We kept this session for RxJS as an Angular, and this is a beginner session for RxJS. We can do a lot of sessions in the future. So now it's a simple example. I have this simple. That is enough. Basic idea is enough. You should know what is components. You should know what is service. You should know the event handling, ng-for and all. That is enough. Okay, and even if you don't understand all these things, that is fine. Just try to enjoy the session. Okay, knowledge is always good. So I have a simple UI over here. So when I click the add new, I'll get this kind of data entry screen. I'll put something and I'll say save. Let me say ABCD, ABCD, and then XYZ. I'll click on save. That's it. Okay, I'm currently like storing this value inside like a memory. So if I say refresh, it is gone. Okay, so now what I will do, you know, again, as I said, like I'm expecting you to know the Angular. So I'll go to customer component. So right now the problem with this code is everything is in the component class. This is the component class of my component. All the logic is written inside the component class, which is very bad. So what I should do, I should move it to the service. I believe you know what is Angular service. Angular service is the injectable application logic. The logic in the Angular should go to the service. So let's create a service. So what I will do, I'll say right click, new file. Those who don't know Angular may feel it a little difficult. That's fine. Just move ahead with the whatever you can understand. We cannot do injustice with those people who knows Angular because this session is meant for them actually, but still. So here I will create customer service, a very simple code. Okay, this time you are going to understand that reactive programming very well. Now inside this, what I will do, you know, I will say load customer, a very simple function. Okay, and let's do something dynamic. Okay, what I will do, you know, I will say let customers equal to, I will say JSON dot parse. Okay, I will say local storage dot customers. Okay, and if it is not defined, then let's return an array. Okay, I'll say as array of customer. Okay, are you able to understand everyone? So customer is the simple class which I over here. Can you see over here? It is the simple class. Okay, so right now I don't have anything in the local storage. Let's confirm that. Okay, I'll say inspect and let me go to application tab. There is actually something. Let me remove it. So what will happen because of this? Because of this local storage dot custom, you understand this syntax, right, everyone? If you're not, like, I can make it easy. Don't get confused. I'm saying if local storage dot customers exist, okay, if it is there, then I'm saying maybe I have to do it like this. Then let customers equal to null. Okay, and then I will say, then if it exists, then I will put it like this. JSON dot parse this. Else I will say simply customers equal to this. Everybody understand this code? It's a basic JavaScript. Everybody understand this code? Cool. So I'm assuming that everybody understands it. So the simple way of writing this code is like this. Okay, so I'm saying simply if local storage dot customers, if it is undefined, set it to bracket. That's simple. Okay, then I'll say that simply return. This is going to be an array of customer. Okay, and then I will say return customers. Very simple. That's it. Okay, a very simple code. That's it, nothing else. Okay, so it's a simple JavaScript. So I'm reading the customers and I'm converting it to an object and I'm returning it. Okay, and then I will say return type is going to be array of customer. That's it, done. And then I have another function save, which is going to accept a parameter of type customer. Okay, so again I need the same thing, and then I will say simply c dot customers dot push, customer dot push c, and then I will say simply return. That's it, customer dot c. That's it, done. So I'm adding a new customer, and then I have to say update the local storage dot customers to JSON dot stringify to customers. So everybody good so far? A simple code. What I did is like I simply created a customer service which will retrieve. See, just assume, okay, everyone, don't get confused with this line number 5 or line number 10. What I'm saying, just assume that you have written a code which will make an API call and get data from the database. Getting my point? And you are returning that customer from here. Here you are saving a data into the database. Just assume in that way. Everybody good so far? Okay, just put it in that way. Just imagine that a code is written over here which will make an API call and get data from the database and return it to you. And here a code is written which will make an API call which add new data into the database. Just imagine like that. Okay, the point is we will connect it here. So what will I do? I'll remove this code from here. Okay, definitely I need to put the @injectable decorator and all, because that's what Angular is. So just try to understand as much as you can. If you don't know Angular, if you know Angular, then you can enjoy. So okay, I have to say root. Got it? Perfect. Perfect. Right? So now what I will do, I'll simply say here, I will say customer service is going to give me the instance of customer service. So I have to say export, otherwise it won't be available to me outside. So I'll say customer service. Let me say import. Okay, let me put the private keyword here. Once again, guys, it is for those who knows Angular, but so here I will say customer dot load customer. So it is going to give me the new customers, right? And then I have a save function over here. Here what I will do, I will say this dot customer service dot save, and let me take this code. Let me put it here. Okay, that's it. Perfect, right? So what I did so far it was very simple. Simple code. The I simply removed the logic from here and I placed it here. Let's check it out. Something is so everybody's clear. Everybody's clear. E is not defined. Where is E? Oh, okay, good. As you can see, the table is empty right now. Now try to understand everyone. Okay, what I did in the beginning, I have sorry, in the beginning, in the constructor, I'm getting data from the customer service. Right now, let's put the breakpoint and let's understand it. Okay, I'll put the breakpoint inside this. Okay, I will say debugger semicolon. Okay, let me open the developer tools. And then I will say refresh. See, as you can see, in the beginning, this load customer got executed. I'll take my cursor to this local storage.customers, and you will notice that it is undefined right now. So because of that, this line, what it will do, the customers will be an empty array. Can you see the length 0? It is an empty array. And because of that, what happens? I'm getting this empty row, empty table, right? Then I will say add. I will say Sukesh, Marla, save. Nothing happened. Let's do one thing. Let's open the developer tools. Application. Can you see? I have a customer's object. Can you see over here? Which is having one array here. So let me do it again. I will say, what should I put? Tell me. A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z. Save. Can you see? A new record got added to the database, but my UI is not getting refreshed. This is what I'm talking about. What I'm saying, here I said this dot customer. Now just try to imagine what kind of code you used to write so far in the constructor, whether it is .NET application, whether it is Java application, whether it is PHP application. This approach you are following so far. You make a request in the beginning, you get all the data. Once the save is done, you again make a call and you get the data and you update the UI. Yes or no? That's approach you have been following. Everybody agree to this? Everybody agree to this? Everybody is aware about this approach. So you make a call to the API or the database or the API, some service, WCF service, whatever. You make a call, you get the data, you display it in the UI. Okay, once you update the data, you again make a call to the API and get the new data, right? So point is, what is happening right now? So like now here I have to do that explicitly. I have to say, hey, can you please get the load? So if I write this line, here, it will work. Getting my point? But the problem is, this is okay. It's a simple example, okay? In this approach, even if you make another API call, that doesn't make sense. But now try to understand in terms of Angular, everyone. In the Angular, what happens exactly? Or in the better statement is the modern application development, the component oriented application style, where you are going to create your entire UI as a collection of small multiple components. So one big component is going to hold multiple small components. So like this, you're getting my point? So I will be having, so all the square bracket indicates some kind of components, everyone. So are you able to understand what I am talking about? Okay, so we have so many components in one entire UI. And let's say when something happen inside this, here I need to change that data. So how will I do it? Now, if I follow that RxJS approach, the subject one, my life becomes super simpler, because otherwise it becomes very difficult. Is it impossible? No. Is it tough? Yes. Are you following, everyone, what I'm talking about? Because right now we are doing a small code, things becomes very easy. See, when it comes to training, when it comes to learning, things are always easy. But when it comes to real-time project, things are like 1,000, 2,000 times difficult. And that's what I am trying to do here. I am trying to share my experience of development and consulting with you. Definitely using the training experience I have, training skills I have. So I hope I was able to do it. So are you getting my point exactly? Like I want you to understand the problem statement here, everyone. Okay, the solution is easy. The solution is very easy. Once you understand what is the problem, implementing solution becomes very easy. Yeah, Sunil, very nice. You paged it, right? Yes. So people, what they do, they make like, okay, create an output property, raise an event. Now that in this case, what happened, this will raise an output property, which will be this will like with the help of output property communicate with this. This will with the help of output property communicate with this help. and this will with the help of input property communicate with this, and this will with the help of input property communicate with this, and finally this will with this, and this will with this. I'm tired. Getting my point? So now code becomes unmanageable. Later in the stage, a new developer joins the organization, and immediately, like after a month he joined, he resigns. Why? Because he is not able to do anything. Why? Because our code is bad. Our code is like not written properly. Are you able to understand, everyone? That's why the session name is RxJS for the Angular developers. But RxJS, you can use it anywhere. But I can see the real use of RxJS in any application where the entire application is developed as a single page application, no matter what technology you are using. Why I'm emphasizing on this word single page application again and again? Because if you are not creating a single page application, then your application will not be having a lot of JavaScript. Okay, and if your application is if your application don't have a lot of JavaScript, in that situation there is no point of using RxJS, because you will just make things more complicated. But let me tell you one more thing, everyone. Reactive programming is a general concept. It is not just in the JavaScript. Maybe you can do that. This reactive extension library, if you search for it, RxJS is a JavaScript world. There is RxNet, which is for .NET, RX.NET, sorry, RX.NET. There is RxJava. I don't know other technologies, but it is there for everyone. Approach, concept, thinking, same. If you understand the thinking, everything is easy. So don't worry about the solution. Try to understand the problem statement. So you have like a minute of time. Think about it. If there is any question, please put it in the chat window. Till then, I'll have some water. So everybody good? So can I have like, there are so many 41 people, right? So those who have not replied yet, can they reply? Yes, we are clear. We have a component, and we have component inside component inside component inside component. So everybody good? Okay. I'm laughing because of some chat messages. Okay. So you will not, I don't know if you're able to see it. I think no. Okay, anyways. Okay, so now let's see how we can make it easy by using the RxJS world. What I will do, first of all, I will have a subject over here. See, syntax, don't worry about that. Okay, syntax you will understand. Now here I will say customers subject colon. This is going to be, should I make it subject or should I make it behavior subject? I should make it behavior subject. Why? What should I make it? What should I do? What do you think? What it should be? Whether it is subject or whether it should be behavior subject. If I make it behavior subject, then I get a provision to make it a default value. I get a provision to assign a default value as well. Yes. So this is going to be like this, right? Perfect. And then, okay, then this one, okay, maybe, or let's make it subject for now. Let's not worry about that. Okay, I don't want to make anyone confused. So what will I do, and maybe in the constructor or somewhere, I will say this dot, just pay attention everyone, don't get confused. Okay, the subject of this one, it's an approach. This is an approach which you have to follow when you feel that there are multiple things which are communicating with each other. Maybe there are classes which are communicating with each other. Maybe there are components which are communicating with each other. Getting my point? I repeat, this is an approach which you have to follow when you feel, when you think that there are certain set of things which are going to communicate with each other. Okay, the observer pattern. This is observer pattern. So what I will do, this one is there, and then that's it. Once the data is available, I will not return or anything like that. I will say customer subject dot next. Oh, what I did. Sorry, this, right? This dot customer subject dot next, because now we are in the world of TypeScript. So you will get to see all the IntelliSense. Life becomes much easier. Earlier, like I used to think like why we have this TypeScript and all, we are already used with the world of JavaScript, right? But once I started working with the TypeScript, I realized like TypeScript is very good. So now here I have to do that. Now just see everyone, this is what I'm saying. Okay, now let's keep this as it is. First of all, I have a customer subject here. I initialized it. And in the initial customers, I am saying load customers here, right? So, or maybe what I can do, I can say, okay, let's load customers. And in the constructor, I'll not do anything like this. I will say just load service, load customers. And then I will say, maybe I will say customer service dot, that is customer subject dot subscribe. I will say X goes to this dot customers, which is my global variable, equal to X. That's it. You want to see the flow? Let's do it. Let me put the breakpoint over here, semicolon. Let's open the developer tools and let's refresh it. Okay, the breakpoint will start from the component. Okay, nobody had, I'm subscribing it. So I just subscribed it, and now I'm saying load customer, which will take me to my service. So here the customer is loaded. Once the customer is loaded, it will say next. And because of that, that subscription will get invoked. Okay, where is it? Here. Okay, fortunately, like I pressed F5, but can you see? I'll do it again if you want. I'll put the breakpoint over here. I'll say refresh. See, this got the first breakpoint is this, then this, then this. Can you see, everyone? Now just pay attention. Okay, now this is the logic. Logic says, yeah, after save, I believe the record should be rebound. So I will simply say this thing. That's it. I will not even go and do anything in the component. That is what I'm talking about. I will say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, save. That's it. The point is, try to understand the logic which was creating new record. It simply said push, or simply said subject.next, and the component who subscribed for it got the notification. So now what I do after save or anything doesn't matter. Now if there is some other button or some other component in the screen which also leads to some modification, maybe update or anything, it simply says customer.next.subject and automatically my grid will refresh. Don't you think my life becomes very easy? There is a small comment. Let me check what it is. Yes, exactly. Exactly, Vinod. Correct. What you said is correct. Got it, right? So that's my point is exactly. So now if there is an update function, okay, there is an update function, I will simply say this dot customer dot subject dot x, and whoever is subscribed, all of them get notification. Let's say there is a small component in my UI which displays the latest customer. It also subscribe for it. And as soon as the new customer got created, it will display the latest customer in it. Are you getting my point? Are you able to understand everyone what I'm saying? Let's assume that in my UI, there is some mark you text over here, which is like just moving here and there. And that is also one component. What it will do, out of all the customers, whoever is the latest customer, his name will be displayed here. So what that will do, that will say customer service dot subscribe dot customer service dot customer subject dot subscribe X goes to, and that means that will get executed whenever the new customer got added. Are you getting my point? So life becomes very simple. No need to do that communication like a dependency graph. Clear, everyone? Everyone 100% clear? This is what today's session was all about. I wanted to give you the overview. Got it? What you can do, we always say like the component should not contain the logic should reside here. But trust me, if you don't know RxJS properly, you will not be able to achieve it. For every Angular developer, RxJS is very important. Very, very, very important. I feel like today or tomorrow you have to learn a lot of things on RxJS. Then only you will be able to develop a quality output in Angular. Learning Angular, learning RxJS, everything is easy, but you should know like the importance of it. Getting my point now? If there is a component, this is how you should communicate with the components between multiple components. Okay, one component will call and service will simply say next, and every other component who subscribed for it will get the notification. And as I said before also, now we should not expose this subject. Instead of that, I should create another variable, customer dollar. Okay, customer dollar. Now dollar is just a naming convention, and I will say customers, it is going to be observable of this one. Okay, as I said, observable, and subject is an object. Okay, it's just an object, so I'll say this is just an object, and here I will say customers dollar like this. I can do that. Okay, this dot, this one, and I believe now you know why, and I'll make it private so that outside people can't access it. Got it? So I will say like equal to this dot customer subject dot as observable. That's it. Like this dot subject dot as observable. Okay, now here I'll start getting error because that is not accessible to me, and I will simply say customer dollar. That's it. Got it? So I made it private and I made observable available outside. Clear, everyone? You see all this underline? That's because I enabled lint in my Visual Studio Code. So if I do any mistake, it shows me error immediately. Okay, so there is a statement. Let me check it out what it is in the comment. If this is related to only object you declare in the customer component. I'm not question what you said. Okay, got it, everyone? Any other question? Any other thoughts? Everybody got the idea? So this is what I was saying, like subject, observable, like these subject is both observable and observer. Observable because you can directly subscribe to it if you want, but it can also feed new data. Like this next method is already available with the subject. And now this is just a beginning. Okay, and just like subject, I said like there is behavior subject, there is replace subject, there is async subject, and just like and there are also a lot of operators you can use with the observables, map, filter, lot of there. Could I use it for parent-child relationship? No. See, Ramesh, Ramesh question is like, when it is a parent-child component, should I use this? Can I use this? If you ask me like can or could, I will say yes, you can. Should I? No. Parent-child component. If there is a parent component, there is a child component. Simple container presentation component. For example, if this component want to talk to this component, simply use the output input property. Got it? But if this component want to talk to this component, then have a service in between and go with this publisher subscribe approach. If the two components are independent, then this one. If two components are just like you made it to make it like your life easy. For example, let's say I have a menu bar component. Sorry, let's say I have a menu bar component which is going to have a lot of small menus. So menu is also a component and menu bar is also a component, right? So menu component you created just so that your code becomes simpler. So menu component and menu bar component will talk to each other using output and input property. Okay, and when you click this menu, something should happen inside this component. Now this should happen with the help of this subscribe model. And let me tell you one more thing. That output and input property is using RxJS observables only in the behind. See, performance, like, yeah, now there is one problem. Good question, good point, Sunil. Performance. Okay, now you know what, when you do this subscription, there is one thing which you have to take care, that is unsubscribe. Okay, now this you said subscribe, right? So that means whenever this one get changed, you will get the subscription, right? So it is very essential that you unsubscribe it as well. So you have to make sure that you hold a global variable, you hold this x equal to, and once your work is done, you unsubscribe it. So usually in Angular, the best way is like on destroy method, on ng destroy method. Okay, so you have to say like where it is, where is my component? So I will say implements on destroy, which will enforce me to create on destroy method. So this is the perfect place where it is. Can anybody see on destroy method where it is? Okay, here. So this is the perfect place for me to destroy my subscription. Got it? So I'll say this dot x dot unsubscribe. So everybody got it? Clear? Maybe there is some spelling mistake, but everybody got the idea? No x. This is like this. Subscription. Okay? Got it right, everyone? So it is very, 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 very important. Okay? Otherwise, your application will end up into memory leak. So when you subscribe, once you destroy, you have to unsubscribe. Now there are some shortcuts, there are some logics which you can think about it. Maybe we can discuss about it sometime later in the series, but this is just like an overview. Okay, the point is whenever you subscribe, it is very essential that you unsubscribe, no matter in which technology it is. Got it, everyone? Yeah, this is what understood, like Sunil. So like when you subscribe, it will return the subscription. You have to make sure that you unsubscribe it. See, the point is simple. Once your component is destroyed, let's say you are doing routing or something in Angular and you navigate from one component to another component. Okay, so this component will get destroyed, but the subscription will still stay alive. Subscription will not get destroyed. Okay, so that's why you have to make sure that in the ng on destroy, you explicitly destroy that subscription. If you don't do that, your application will end up into memory leak. Okay, got it? Everybody got the point? This is one of the common problem which I see with my customers. Okay, either some people, like some of them don't even follow this approach. They like go with output, and they make their code very unmanageable. And some of them follow this approach and they never unsubscribe it. So their application always get into memory leak. Clear, everyone? Yes, it is like disposing. It is not like disposing, you have to dispose. So you have to create a dispose method, and in the dispose method, you have to do it like that. So when your component got destroyed, when your class got destroyed, so you have to do that. So when normally like in the .NET and all, what you do is you create that, you follow that disposable pattern, and in the dispose method, you do this cleanup. You have to do the cleanup. That's an important part. So different technology will give you different placeholder to do that destroy part. In .NET, in normal object-oriented programming methodology, we follow that dispose pattern where we create a dispose method and inside which we do the cleanup. Here we have that ng on destroy method where you can do this cleanup method. So this is called cleanup. You have to clean up your subscription. Clear? Yeah, it's like disposing the object, but I will not call it a disposing the object. Yeah, you can call it, but disposing the object means I remove that object from the memory kind of a thing. Unsubscribe means I don't want to get the subscription anymore. So normally like when we like now I subscribe to the blog posts, and like now I got older, I don't want to read any more technical articles, so I unsubscribe it like that. Okay, so everyone, I believe like you understood, and I believe like you enjoyed this session as well. This was the last thing for the day. Okay, we will arrange some more sessions maybe in the future, and I believe like you will enjoy the future sessions as well. What you can do is, in case you are interested, you can join our Telegram group if you are not already there. Dheeraj, or like if anybody can share the Telegram group in the chat window, it will be very great. It will be Khadak, if you can do it, please. Khadak or Dheeraj. And please, everyone, just this one, the feedback. Just make sure that you go to Mumbai User Group and add some good feedbacks. It just motivates us. Yeah, people. This session is recorded. Once it get uploaded, we will share the link in the Mumbai User Group Telegram group. So hope all of you enjoyed. Hope like this was useful session to everyone. You can always get in touch with one of the Mumbai User Group member, and they will help you to join the Telegram group. Thank you, Vinod sir. Now I'm tired. So anyone, any question? Thank you very much, everyone. Please share your feedback in the Telegram group, in the Mumbai User Group website especially, and please come forward to do some sessions, do such sessions. You should always get into some social work. I'm happy that in the beginning it was 41 people and now also it is 41. The exact same count, so it is very good. Thank you. Thank you very much. See, Knockout is different. You cannot compare RxJS with Knockout actually. Knockout, Angular, React, they can be compared with each other, that kind of thing. Thank you, everyone. So I'll exit the session now. Okay. You can share your feedbacks in the Telegram group or the Mumbai website. Bye bye, everyone. Good night.